Hey, it's Monday, and yeah, we've got some crazy things going on. This week in the news, possibly we're going to see more than double prices on 3D printers all of a sudden. Yeah, because of where they come from. Yeah. Filament, big question. I guess if you're a print farm like I am, you can hear the machinery running in the background. The price of filament, does it affect me or not? Well, it sort of does, but it sort of does not. Reason is, right now as it stands, a lot of the products that I get, we get multiple numbers off of a single spool, and so it breaks down. And like if you get 7 of these 1 units off of this spool, and each of those units sells for, like, say, we'll just take a random number a little bit, let's say $3 or $30. That's $210. And if you have to invest $20 in a spool, or it costs you $40 to invest in the spool, double the price, right? It's like, it really didn't make that much difference to you. Obviously, I mean, yeah, okay, you got to write a little bit more off, whatever. Especially at the end of the year for taxes, you can say, well, you know what, it cost me twice as much to run this year. But the biggest worry, I think, is just the overall picture of double prices on 3D printers. Filament could be going, way up through the roof or something. And it's funny, I've got Polymaker right here, and they have a plant that makes 3D filament, yes, in Houston, Texas, yes. So you don't necessarily have to get Polymaker from, like the rest of them, from China. There's a few companies over here that make it, and I should have probably done a little research on that, but I can't think of the other names off the top of my head. But there's a few US companies that make filament for 3D printing, so you don't necessarily have to buy filament from China if you're concerned. But the thing is, in the process that I have, the cost of the filament is like nickel and dime compared to the big picture. So like I said, if it's $20 a spool, it is what it is. And that's even a little high these days for me, but it's like, that's fine, as long as I can get it here quick, get it in production, get my products made, get them shipped out. It's like, that's fine. Now, if it ran to $40 a spool, which is, yeah, that's double, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to have to, close the doors. Or the thing that I guess in the public side I keep hearing is that, everybody's going to be upping their prices. There's a competitive price out there for a lot of the stuff that I make, and those prices are set for 2 things. Obviously, how many hours is on the 3D printer, how much the spool costs, how much time I got to spend with it, and also the shipping costs, that sort of thing. And also, what does everybody else sell theirs for? Are we going to sell for a little more than them, a little less than them, the same price as them? Where are we going to be at? And a lot of the products that I make and I sell, there's no particular, some of the stuff we do, like the game stuff and that, there's no particular, there isn't anything else on the internet that is just like that product. So in other words, if you're buying mine, it's an exclusive product, you're paying a price for it, but you're not paying a high price, you're paying a competitive price that's within the guidelines of what other people are charging for theirs. In fact, if anything, some of the ones I've looked at, mine's a lot better quality and a little bigger. You're getting a lot more nicer product for your money, kind of thing. So it's like, and I'm doing just fine with the price it's selling for. I don't have to charge more. And even if this spool was to say double in price, $40 a spool, I would not mark my products up $1. I wouldn't bother. If I really felt that I needed to squeeze out a little bit more nickels out of it, I probably could. Yes, we could. We all can do that. I mean, Slant 6, I think it was. He's a 3D print guy, does a lot of shows. He was saying a lot of us sell our stuff too cheap, and that would be okay. What do you want to do about it? There's always somebody, some guy down the road that thinks he can do it for cheap prices. He's killing my business because he's getting all the business, because he's stealing away, because he's selling it for $9. I got to charge 20, whatever. And I have seen this in the past. I think I've mentioned it before. Is what happens is, if you can hold out after about 3 months, 6 months, whatever, guy down the road for $9 a unit or something, all of a sudden he goes out of business. He goes under. He realizes he's not charging enough, and he just closes his doors, or he's lost so much money that he can't even keep the doors open. Yeah, and he's gone. Anyway, and so then you're back up on, you know, riding high, you're getting your $20 a unit or whatever for your product. And then, of course, like life always is, a couple of months down the road, maybe a year later, all of a sudden, bang, you know, your sales drops off, and you look around and go, oh, there's another Joe on there, and he thinks he can sell it for $9 a unit again. Now we got to wait it out until this poor guy dies because he's not charging enough money, and he doesn't realize that the cost of the machinery, the maintenance, the filament, you know, not just the hourly, but your own personal time, your shipping costs, just all of it. Now, one thing that I don't have, I don't incorporate it, is I have other runs with the car that I do that just so happen to go past the post office. So I drop my stuff off and ship it while I'm driving by. I don't specifically, you know, have a certain time of the day where I drive directly to a post office and just ship and come back to the house or something. No, you know, I don't do that. I plan it with my trip that I'm normally going to be making each day. So it's like, this is a regular part of my day, so I will stop at the post office, and whatever came in from last night and maybe early this morning, something, it all gets shipped off. And that works just fine. And what that does is that sort of removes the cost of shipping as far as the personal handling goes, and making a special trip or something. You know, I don't have to. And I have done that for years. I was with eBay since like 1999 or whatever it was, and I rolled through all of these motions, and I'm finding, oddly enough, selling on eBay way back 20 years ago, 3D printing sales is about the same situation. You keep running into the same things. The sales goes up and down, fluctuates, and if something happens, sometimes you lose all kinds of sales. And I'll give you some crazy examples, but you know, a volcano goes off, it's on the news, it's in Hawaii or whatever, and all of a sudden your sales, you know, goes down. And what it is everybody's watching that volcano on TV and forgot about ordering, you know, whatever specific products that they want from you, and it just happens. And you sort of have to wait till the volcano news slowly trickles down to where the guy is standing in front of the lava today. Yeah, the lava's still here, but it's creeping real slow now. And you're like, yeah, well, sales is starting to come back up because people are getting bored with you. Okay, yeah. I wish we didn't have, you know, horrendous news like that hits sometimes, but it's worldwide events. They happen, you know, it just happens. So you have to be prepared or something to be, you know, mentally it's like adjust and just say, yeah, okay. Until everybody gets bored with this volcano, I'm not going to be selling too much stuff right now. And that gives you time to explore other avenues, other products, or do other things with your business, or even sit down and go, how can I make this business run more efficiently and even better, you know, and that sort of thing. See, you know, you use the time. The situation here, I don't even want to use the word, but and the reason, let me explain this. Since I started this channel, there was a set of rules I made up, and the first one was we would not touch religion. No, we won't talk about it. We won't go there. You know, just leave it alone. Politics. You know, don't want to discuss politics or what's going on out in the big world right now. It has come to the point. Also, yeah, no cussing or swearing, that sort of thing. You know, keep it sensible, keep it level. But unfortunately, yes, unfortunately, in the news, things are in the world is changing at a point of global changes, which affect even my 3D printing business, or at least threaten my 3D printing business, and it threatens myself. And if you guys are into 3D printing or getting into 3D printing, it's going to threaten you too, because if you haven't bought a machine and you're thinking about buying a machine, like a lot of people are saying, same machine is probably going to cost you about double what it used to. Yeah, because of this, I hate to use that word, because of tariffs, which, you know, another word was it import duty? I think that's what they used to call it long time ago. We just changed the word, but it's the same thing. Yeah, and you know, for something like Filament, like I said, it doesn't really affect my business that much. And in fact, if anything, if I could get really good quality filament that was very reliable, delivered the next day all the time regularly or something, I could pay $30. Well, I tell you the truth, at that point I still sort of wouldn't care. You know what I mean? It's like, As long as my business is rolling, that's not bothering me at all, you know, because that's nickel and diming, which is what it is. It's nice to pay $20 a roll. It's very relaxing. And right now, there's some companies here in the U.S. that I'm looking at. I'm going to have to put a list together of all the U.S. companies that make filament for 3D printing. I guess that's one thing I think we should all, maybe we should all have that in mind right now and be prepared, because the stuff from China, I don't know how it's all going to fare out. And the other thing that's along that line, and here's the thing that, again, it's hard to see it, but let's just take this for a good example. This is roll A of filament. When the manufacturer makes this and he exports it down the road to, say, the USA, he's got to turn in a value of what this thing costs him. You know, how much is he getting for this roll? And at that point, we as consumers, like you, like me, we have no idea what this guy's actually getting. He might be getting $5 a spool for his work. What happens is that spool for $5 is then now, well, now we're going to be tariffed, and so all of a sudden now it's $10 a spool. But when it gets over here and imported, it goes into a warehouse, and companies pick it up in gobbledygook numbers, and they might turn it over and release it to the public, and they might be charging $22 a spool. In other words, making the big dollars on it, and that big money that's made on it is quite possibly here in the US. It may not be going anywhere else. Well, I've seen that in the past. And the other thing that they can do, and this is where a lot of loopholes kick in, is China. Good example. They could turn around and say, you know what, this thing's only worth $1, so that's, you know, go ahead and put your tariff on there. And then with the paperwork, the load broker, and all the rest of it, importing the stuff, they might say, yeah, they're reporting $1 a spool. You know, what are they really getting in their bank account? We're not sure, but that's what they're doing. There's a lot of games that can be played with that sort of thing. But I suspect we are going to see an increase in price on 3D printing, 3D filament. And some of us, especially the people that make all that crazy gobbledygook stuff that I see on Etsy all the time, they're going to have to up their prices. I can see that. The thing that's going to worry me is, I guess, is the machines. And how it worries me is, it's like right now I have an Anycubic. It's the Cobra 2 Max. It sells for a very low price. In fact, I think last time I checked, you can pick one up for around $350, something like that. So just saying, if that machine is now $700 to buy, I'm sort of, because I'm a print farm, I'm sort of okay with that. But as a hobbyist, I would not be. And what's really worrisome is right now, that's an older machine. So if you get the old version that was made a year ago or something, it's in a box, you're way better off. Because the other thing that I've seen happen too is companies overseas will figure out, well, let's see, we'll put this together, we'll ship it with no screws. The customer will have to supply his own screws. That'll bring the price down. You know what I mean? Just using that as a weird example, but they will make cheaper machines. The aluminum will get thinner. The motors will get, you know, light duty motors that really can't do the job, sort of thing, and you'll end up paying $300 for what you think is the old machine, but you're getting a new machine that's been revised, and they've made it cheaper in order to stay under that duty, that import duty or tariff. Yeah. So I'm worried that the machines will get cheaper and become garbagey, and especially consumer grade stuff, you know, a lot of times you get it in and it works good for about 6 months, and then poof, everything goes up in smoke. These machines so far to date, I can honestly say, all the way back to my CR10, just unstoppable. You know, works the same every day, and it's just been on and on and on. I don't know where the wear factor is, to where it'll give out and say, okay, I'm not making any more parts for you, you know. And I think that's part of what I'm worried about, is that they will start making cheaper machines that only last 6 months or only run about a year, and then the parts start falling off of them or something, or the bearings go because they didn't use good bearings. Lower quality parts and a lower quality build all the way around, and that worries me, that tariff is forcing that situation to happen, and I'm not quite sure where we're going to go with that. So it's like, you know, so ask you comments and lots of questions over how you feel about the situation with 3D printing, the cost of the filament, the cost of the machines, and, you know, where do you think it's all going? Glad to hear about it. I am going to call this a crazy day today because of yeah, the news situation. Like I said, I usually don't try to do the up-to-date sort of thing. I like to just go about my business and worry about tools and cutting wood or filament, 3D printing, lasers, whatever, welding. Yeah. But unfortunately, this has really sort of come to a head a little bit, and it's making everybody, I think, leery of spending money right now too. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, thank you for watching Coffee and Tools. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the notice bell, and we'll see you Thursday. Yes.